One of the most popular monthly paying dividend stocks out there is Main Street Capital Corporation, stock ticker MAIN, often referred to as Main. And this is a stock currently trading at $53.04 per share. Over the last year, up about 8%. If we look at them year to date, like most of the market, they're down by about 11.23%. But look at that starting dividend yield, now sitting above 8%. Now, when I see most people talk about this stock, I see a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of mistakes when talking about Main Street Corporation. And really it boils down to one thing: the fact this company is a business development company. These are companies that are going to operate vastly different than your standard S&P 500 stock. So it's vital we understand what makes this company unique and really what makes business development companies unique in general. Now, before we jump into this, let's get a basic understanding of the key dividend metrics. We've already seen a very high starting dividend yield, currently sitting at about 8%. And if we look at the dividend history for this stock, we can see they do have a history of not only growing those dividend payments, but paying out special dividends as well. So the dividend has been very sustainable over the past decade, and it's continued to grow. In fact, if we look at the dividend growth rates, we can see the 3-year about 5.5%, the 5-year close to 4%, and the same is true with the 10-year dividend growth rate. So the dividend metrics at first glance actually look very, very good for this business development company. So let's go ahead and jump into the investor fact sheet to make sure we actually understand what Main Street Capital Corporation does. Here on the investor fact sheet, what we can see is Main Street Capital Corporation is a publicly traded business development company that primarily provides capital to private U.S. companies, and they're located in Houston, Texas, and they have over $8.1 billion of investment capital under management. Their objective is to maximize our investment portfolio's total return by generating one, current income from our debt investments in lower middle market companies and private loan companies, and dividend income, capital appreciation, and periodic realized gains from our equity and equity related investments in LMM companies. And that stands for lower middle market. So basically what this means is they generate income by lending to small and middle-sized private businesses at high interest rates and collecting interest income, fees, and sometimes equity stakes in return. And when we look at this company from a total return perspective, we can see they've done very well over the past year, outperformed the S&P 500 by a pretty wide margin. The same is true over a 3-year time period, a 5-year time period, and even a 10-year time period. Now, because this company is a business development company, there's 4 key facts we need to understand about it. And this is actually something I was talking about over on dividendology.com just the other day. There is a link to it in the description. But just like real estate investment trusts, business development companies are required by law to pay out 90% of their income in the form of dividends. And we'll jump back and talk about this later to better understand how sustainable those dividend payments are. Number 2, we have to understand they benefit from rising rates in most cases. For example, most business development companies make floating rate loans, which means higher interest rates can boost their income, but a weak economy could lower those rates and hurt returns. And a really good example of the impact of interest rates on these business development companies is simply looking at Main Street Capital's dividend history. Now, what we can see, these gray bar charts right here, this is the stock's monthly dividends, and it's been growing pretty much ever since 2008. That's a pretty impressive dividend growth history. But on top of this, at certain periods of time, they've been able to pay out supplemental dividends. Now, when interest rates went very low in 2021, we can see the company really didn't pay out any supplemental dividends. But as interest rates have gone considerably higher over the last few years, they've really ramped up the amount they're paying out in supplemental dividends. And again, that's because we've seen higher interest rates, and because of floating rate loans, they can generate more income, allowing them to pay out more in dividends. Now, with that being said, those dividends might be taxed as ordinary income in most cases, so just keep that in mind. And then, just like mentioned, they tend to lend to smaller, riskier businesses. Because they finance lower to middle market companies, these are businesses that don't have access to traditional capital markets, so they rely on BDCs for funding. As a result of this, the credit risk is higher, especially during economic downturns or recessions. So we're starting to get a better understanding of Main Street Capital and business development companies in general, but we still have to answer some key questions like, are their dividend payments sustainable moving forward? Are they growing their intrinsic value? And what does the valuation look like? And those are all things we certainly have to know. So let's talk about the sustainability of those dividend payments for a moment. Now, when it comes to business development companies, every single week, the financial firm Raymond James sends out a BDC weekly insight, and this is something that I read every single week to get a better understanding of what's going on with some of the most important business development companies. And there is a lot of data, a lot of information here to go through, but if you really want to know what the best opportunities in the BDC market, this is something you need to review. So let's go ahead and break down a few of the key things we need to look at, especially in regards to Main Street Capital, and especially in regards to their dividend. Now to start out here, we can see with their key statistics. What we can see here is the total dividend yield for these different business development companies. There's over 40 listed here. And if we scroll near the bottom, we can see Main Street Capital Corporation right here at around 8%. Okay, so the starting dividend yield, again, as we already know, is around 8%. We need to keep this in mind. If we scroll down, here's what we want to pay close attention to: the weighted average yield. Now, this is not referring to the dividend yield. The weighted average yield actually tells you how much their portfolio is generating in investment income. So in most cases, what we want to look for is a higher weighted average yield than the dividend yield for the company. And in the case of Main Street Capital, here's what we can see. If we zoom in here, we can see the weighted average yield for Main Street Capital is sitting at about 12.3%. So their weighted average yield is quite a bit higher than their total dividend yield. That's a sign of dividend sustainability. But we can take it even a step further than this. We want to know if the company's net investment income is completely covering those dividends. So what we can do is scroll down here near the bottom, and what we want to look for is base dividend coverage. And here we go right here. What we can see out of the 40 plus business development companies on this PDF, Main Street Capital has the second best base dividend coverage, coming in at 147%. Again, this is simply net investment income divided by dividends. So basically for every $100 in dividend they pay out, they have about $147 in net investment income. That's pretty healthy for a business development company. And what we'll see is there's a lot of business development companies that are actually really struggling to make those dividend payments, and it's not looking too sustainable. If you have interest in checking out this spreadsheet for yourself, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. Now, while we're looking at this spreadsheet, there's one more thing we really need to understand about Main Street Capital that really sets it apart from the other business development companies. And again, I was talking about this over on Dividendology.com. But Main Street Capital is internally managed. What does this mean? Well, it means employee and shareholder interests are very closely aligned by linking compensation to the actual performance of the BDC. And what this does is it results in a lower cost structure than externally managed BDCs. If we look at an example, we'll go ahead and scroll down. What we want to look for is operating expenditures as a percentage of assets, and we can see it right here. And what we can see is Main Street Capital Corporation operating expenditures as a percent of assets is the lowest out of over 40 BDCs at just 0.9%. If we look at some of these other BDCs, we can see it gets as high as about 4.3%. There's an old Charlie Munger quote that says, "Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome." And so I'd argue that because management, because the employees have the same incentives as shareholders, this has certainly contributed to the success of Main. Now let's talk for a moment how Main Street Capital has been able to grow their intrinsic value over time. Now if we jump over to my stock screener and come up here and plug in Main, first off, you can see all this data is going to automatically load in thanks to the help of the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets. You can currently get 30% off of the yearly plans at tickerdata.com by using code TARIF at checkout. But when we think about Main Street Capital and BDCs in general, again, in order to grow their intrinsic value, they have to have capital to invest into the business. But these are companies that are required by law to pay out 90% of their earnings in the form of dividends. So really, they have two ways to raise capital. They can take on debt, or they can issue new shares. And if we come down here and look at shares outstanding, we can see issuing new shares has been pretty common for Main Street Capital over the past decade, and that likely won't change moving forward, especially if interest rates remain high. But the reality is, for business development companies, this is not a red flag. This gives them the capital to have the chance to grow intrinsic value. So how has Main Street Capital done this, and how do we measure this? Well, the key metric we want to look for is going to be net asset value per share. This is simply going to be the total assets minus liabilities and then dividing by shares outstanding to get it on a per share basis. And this is one of the most important metrics for business development companies because it tracks the real-time value of the BDC's portfolio. So let's look at the historical net asset value for Main Street Capital. We can see this charted out here in the dark green. Back in around 2008 and 2009, net asset value was below $12 per share, as we can see right here. But since then, it's grown tremendously all the way up to close to $32 per share. And what Main Street Capital has just recently told us is they expect a record net asset value per share for their next quarterly earnings report. So this is great news. This is exactly what we want to see when analyzing business development companies. This would be similar to a REIT growing its adjusted funds from operation, or one of your more typical stocks growing its earnings or free cash flow per share. So from what we've seen today, purely from a quality perspective, Main Street Capital looks really good. But we still have to answer the key question of what does the valuation look like? And how do we even value these business development companies? Well, to start out, probably one of the most important valuation metrics is going to be the price to book ratio. And we can see for Main Street Capital right now, it's sitting at about 1.68. Now, this is simply going to be the market price divided by net asset value per share. And it's basically showing us how the market values the business development company's portfolio. Now, because price to book ratio is market price divided by net asset value per share, and because Main Street Capital is sitting at a 1.68 price to book value, it means the market is valuing this business development company's assets at a premium. And so the question is that justified? And we can see when we look at Main Street Capital's history over the entirety of the past decade, the only time the price to book value got below 1 was during the 2020 market crash. For most of this business development company's history, it's been sitting above 1.5. And what's interesting is if we look at the price to book ratio for Main Street Capital versus other business development companies, we can see it's consistently valued at a much higher premium than these other business development companies. And at first glance, you'd probably think, oh, this must be a business development company that's overvalued, but that's not necessarily the case. For example, look at FSK. Their price to book ratio is actually below 1. But if we look at the performance of this business development company, it's really not too impressive. Over the past year, down by about 2%, and if we look at the 10-year performance, down 54.6%. If we look at the dividend history for this business development company, what we can see is it actually looks like in 2020, they had to reduce their dividend payments and it hasn't recovered. They actually did this again back in 2017 as well. And since most investors are buying these BDCs for the investment income, that's obviously not what we want to see. So even though their price to book ratio is below 1 and that starting dividend yield is around 15%, it definitely doesn't tell the whole story. Now, with that being said, if we zoom in a little bit, we can see before the recent sell-off, Main Street did get all the way up to around a 2 price to book ratio, which is pretty much the most expensive we've seen this BDC trade at in the last 5 years. But after this recent sell-off, it looks like it's trading pretty close to its average price to book ratio over the last 5 years. So if you're asking yourself the question, does it deserve to trade at premium? The answer is absolutely yes, it certainly does. The question is simply at how much of a premium does it deserve to trade at? And with that price to book ratio coming down quite a bit over the last few months, it's certainly becoming quite a bit more attractive. The reality is there's very few business development companies I would ever consider adding to my portfolio, but Main Street Capital is certainly one of them. The company has a phenomenal history, not just from a share price appreciation standpoint, but from a standpoint of actually growing their intrinsic value over time. The BDC is internally managed, meaning that incentives are properly aligned as well. The dividend metrics look great with a starting yield right now of above 8%, and they have paid out consistent dividends and have even paid out quite a few special dividends over the last few years. And like we learned today, they have one of the best dividend coverage ratios out of all the BDCs out there. Now, to wrap things up, I do have to point out the short interest for this BDC is currently sitting at about 3.84, which is still a little bit higher than I typically like to see it, but it's not necessarily a huge red flag. So the simple reality is, yes, Main Street Capital trades at a slight premium, but it's every bit deserving of that premium. Obviously, in the short term, nobody really knows what's going to happen to this stock or the market in general. But I think if you're looking for a reliable dividend payer that's going to grow its dividends over the long term, then Main Street Capital is an attractive option, and especially so because the valuation has become quite a bit better over the last few months. But go ahead and let me know what you think of Main Street Capital in the comments down below. Again, if you want to get access to this BDC PDF, I'll leave a link to it down in the description. And like always, if you'd like to get access to any of my spreadsheets and also access to the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet, then you can head over to tickerdata.com at the link in the description. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.